Welcome back to Harmon Homestead. It's 96 degrees today here in Alabama, so we're gonna work quick. Now, I did a short day before yesterday, and I asked y'all to let me know if you prune your tomato suckers or not. So today I'm gonna show you what to do with them. As you can see here, I've got 11 tomato plants. They're this big because I side dressed all this with chicken manure, and I put chicken manure in this fall. I have not used Miracle Grow not once on these. I've not used anything, nothing. The cages are over here. That's the outer edge of the cage. Do you see that? And I'm standing here with it at my feet, way over here. They're humongous. They're humongous. I've got 4 Better Boys, and then I've got black from Tula, black Cream, black Brandywine, Cherokee Purple. I've got all the heirlooms down there out of these 11. Now I've got a wall of tomatoes back there that we've got to work on. But my tomato plants always get blight. It doesn't matter if I plant 1 in this bed, if I plant 3, if I plant them 30 feet apart. Down here, I get blight no matter what. I've built new beds with new soil. They still get blight. It's wind pollinated or wind spread. It happens. It can spread up to miles. So my plants could have caught it from the neighbors down the road. It's just hot and humid here and we get it. So I never ever prune my suckers, and this is why. By the time that they're eaten up with blight, if you can see down in there, they look kind of puny. You need those suckers to take in chlorophyll. Now, what I'm going to do, instead of just going through here and trimming off all this with blight, I'm going to show you one stem here. This is a blight-ridden stem. This is blight, okay? We've talked about this over and over, but a lot of people have trouble understanding blight. When your leaves just die like this, but the actual leaf and plant looks healthy, it does look healthy. It's not wilting, it's not shriveled up. That's getting into stuff like fusarium, wilt, things like that. This is blight. You see spots there, that's fungus all over it. You can use hydrogen peroxide diluted on this stuff. You can use baking soda. You can use copper. You can use all of the above. But this year, I never did prune it off. They say to prune it because it keeps it from spreading. I understand that. However, it's still taking in chlorophyll up here where it's green. I just don't know at this point if I will continue to prune these. I've told you to prune and fertilize, but I've not pruned, but I've also not fertilized. Anyways, that's the blight, and I want to show you about these suckers. So I'm gonna pull the camera down so you can see here, and I'm gonna try to find a really good sucker. Let's talk about the suckers. Now, to keep your plants from being a jungle like this, you probably do need to prune them. It's just they've gotten out of hand. So let's see here. Here's a perfect example. Again, this is a Better Boy. Perfect. See if y'all can see. This is your main branch. Here's a branch over here, large branch, and usually blight will not get to the top. It starts at the bottom. There's your branch. This coming up in the side here from that tall branch over here, anything that comes up in the bend right there is a sucker. If you notice a huge branch right behind it, take the sucker if it looks healthy and prune it. Now again, a lot of people say don't prune your suckers because they just don't like to prune it off the plant. I've been of that opinion. A lot of people, more so people will say to prune the suckers because they say they're not any good. Guys, there's been a lot of times I wouldn't have any tomatoes if it was not for my suckers because of blight. There's little blooms all over this sucker, look. Right there. People say it doesn't make a harvest. That is not of my opinion. My opinion is if you want some tomatoes and have trouble getting tomatoes, leave them. Leave them. They're still going to fruit. I've got suckers loaded with tomatoes right now. That's just how it's worked for me, especially if you heavily fertilize. So, what we're going to do with this, I am going to take this sucker, I'm going to go all through here, and clip these suckers. And I'm going to put it in water for about a week. Little sun, little shade, kind of dappled sun, and I'm going to let them grow roots. Tomatoes grow roots everywhere. If you can see down the stem, all the fur, that's roots coming on. Tomatoes will put down roots anywhere. We've got tomatoes that have sat in a bucket since April full of water, and they have roots this long on them. Now, they're not great plants. They should have been gotten out of that bucket, but they'll form roots. What I'm going to do over here in the blank space of my garden where I just pulled up bush beans is plant these after a week. With it 96 today, today's not the day to put this straight in the ground because it doesn't have any roots on it right now. It'll have actually a formed root system. This will help you instead of going out and buying late season transplants. I see right now at greenhouses, they'll say $2 a transplant. We've got better boys, we've got celebrities, blah, blah, blah. If you've already got plants, don't go buy those. You've got them right here and they look better than what you go buy at the store. Don't do that. Don't. Don't do it unless you just want to. This will save you money. So I'm gonna go, you could get, I don't know how many off one plant. If you've got just one tomato plant that's healthy, get the suckers. Now, a lot of people, let me see if I can get this one up in the camera. It's kind of hard the way it's positioned. A lot of people, see that right there is a sucker. Let's see if I can get this out of the, see that? That little thing right there. A lot of people will pick them off. Guys, I see little bloom buds already on it. You could take it at that stage and try to do something with it. I would probably put that in potting mix if I were you, if I was gonna try that. I wouldn't fool with it that little. I would get something fairly big, okay? That's just me. But look, in the branches, anywhere. See, that's a little sucker coming on. Let them come on, that way they'll outdo the disease. That's just my personal preference. I just look at it like this. The tomato wouldn't have them to begin with if it wasn't there for a purpose, okay? We're trying to redesign the DNA of this tomato and it's not meant to be. That's just my personal opinion. So we're gonna go down through here and I'm gonna get some more suckers and we're gonna get them. You notice just since I've cut it in this heat, it's starting to wilt quickly. You need to get it in water very quick. All right, so here's another perfect example. I've gotten over in my compost bed and I found a perfect little sucker in here for you guys to see. Now look at the blooms on this. This is the most bizarre looking plant, and I cannot remember what variety this is. Let's see here. Let me look on my little canning ring. This is a Cherokee purple. It's got some weird looking blooms, guys. I'm just gonna say they look like marigolds almost. But oh, he's cat facing. Okay, let's find us a sucker and let's put it to use. So you look for the branch. Okay, and then you look for a fork in it, like this, down in here, and this is going to be a big sucker. Beautiful. There is a large sucker if you let it go. He's got blooms on him, right there. We're going to put this in water immediately. Let him try to get some roots. You could dip this in rooting hormone if you wanted to. I just throw it in some water and you're gonna have some tomato plants to go in your raised bed or your garden in about a week. And they're already adjusted to sunlight and you don't have to pay any money. They're right here. The bigger the sucker, the better. The quicker you'll have more tomatoes and the healthier it'll be. So just look all through your tomato plants if you do prune suckers and try to snip off a few and plant them in the ground. It will not hurt. It will not hurt. They produce a harvest. People say they don't, they do. Again, suckers have saved me so many times, guys, from not having a harvest at all. All right, so we're gonna put these in the bucket. All right, guys, I'm up under here somewhere. So this is a bucket of water that I've got, and that was my very first sucker right here that I put in the water. He's holding on. He's just not too awfully happy right now because he just got plucked off the plant. I've got 3 more huge suckers here with blooms, and I'm gonna put them down in here in the shade, and they'll put on roots, okay? So I want to show you these that we've had since April that have been sitting in this bucket. Look at these tomato plants with the roots. I'm gonna get up here with you guys. Look at this. Tomatoes will put down roots anywhere, and this is completely aquaponic. They will put down roots anywhere. I mean, down the main stem, whatever. Look at that. So, these could be transplant. I just don't want to fool with them, okay? I just didn't have the time and I didn't want to fool with it, but I wanted to show you guys what they look like just in water. So guys, I wanted to show you, you can take tomatoes and you can root them and transplant them and have a good little harvest off this, off something free. You don't have to go buy $2 tomato plants on sale, unless you just want to or want to help the company, whoever. But this is going to be a huge tomato plant. Just give it a little time, let it form some roots. The very first one I put down in here that was wilted is already trying to perk back up. Tomatoes love water. They love it. They'll do okay. All right, they just look a little wilted at first when you cut them off because they've just had a shock. Get the stems down in that water. I personally would not use baby ones. It's too hard. I would get them on big like this. That way you'll have another fall crop of tomatoes when your plants are dead. And guys, this stuff has a natural life cycle. Tomatoes are perennial somewhere, but they're not going to last forever in our backyard gardens. They're just not. You can work them, but they're going to catch disease. And the best thing to do is just start completely over. You'll get a second harvest. You'll get more in that amount of space. And the whole point of saving money with gardening is to rotate stuff continuously. That way you'll have food coming up constantly. And it's beneficial for the soil to rotate stuff different places as well. So guys, that's what you can do with tomato suckers. Don't throw them in the compost pile. Don't throw them away. Put them back in the ground. We'll see you guys next time on Harmon Homestead.